There's a fight in this movie with Luca and H. And with Chris is an athlete. He's done a lot of action movies, and he's very good in choreography, and he gets it very quickly.
I think the alien that I was up against was another foot or so taller than me, and certainly was more gifted in the sort of strength and the fighting areas than my character was.
Chris is just very quick on finding the comedy moments. He's hilarious. He's one of the funniest guys to be around. So we'd let him go with it.
I think the physical comedy I find sometimes that gets the biggest laugh. And it's about trying to not overdo that, but find moments where your character is snappy with the dialogue, also sort of saying nothing and just being ragdolled around a set. Don't worry, it's all part of the plan.
There's your first assignment. I think we may have a problem in London.
Emma is returning as Agent O, the head of the New York MIB Bureau.
She appears to be working alone.
So a random civilian with zero training simply waltzes in off the street. I'm just thrilled to be back in my role as O, the leader of the organization.
Some of the finest acting that I probably have ever done in the course of my career is playing cool around Emma Thompson. I have been such a fan of hers for such a long time, and Gary came up to me and he goes, Tessa, I'm not quite sure what you're trying to do, the way that you're staring at O. Is there something I don't know about that you're trying to play? And I was like, no, I'm just staring at her act. I'm so sorry.
Liam Neeson, again, incredible. So kind and gentle.
I play this character called High T. He has a very special relationship with H. I know it's a cliche to say, but I think he's very much a father figure in his life.
Liam is a consummate actor and a true star in his own right. He literally may be the only actor who Chris Hemsworth can look up to, since Chris is about 6'3" and Liam is about 6'5". He's an indispensable part of the cast.
He was very specific on making sure that mentorship was clear and the father-son relationship was evident. Basically, it's sort of the heart of the film.
Have a look at the evolution of alien High T. This is really where the design process began. It was wanting to bring some sort of hive or spore creature out. The creativity flowed from there, really. You can sort of see the evolution of it. And as it got bigger and bigger, these are sort of designed to be about 15 to 20 feet tall. The Men in Black universe, there was a very specific type of alien. They're quite kiddie-friendly, really. And when it came to AHT, we were told we didn't have to stick to those boundaries. We could go as scary as we wanted.
You know, I'm tasked very often playing someone that's new to this world with having excitement or wonderment looking around, and it's been very easy for me to do because the designs of these set pieces and everything are so beautiful and so imaginative, really and truly.
Now arriving, express train from New York.
In Canary Wharf, what we wanted to do was we wanted just to try to find a space that we can enhance a bit in post that would serve that, that actually existed. And I know everyone sort of loved the architecture of that location.
We have a nightclub scene where they go to see Vungus, and we've got a London taxi in this location just on Ludgate Hill, which goes down into the Alien nightclub.
We ended up actually deciding to shoot that as a location, and that was in central London in a place called Billingsgate, which is the old fish markets of London from the 17th century.
This Men in Black really is a globe-trotting adventure. They go all over.
The first three Men in Blacks are very much based on early 60s modernism. We didn't want to export that to London, but we also didn't want to just lean into what sort of the world thinks about in terms of the classical British architecture.
We're going to sort of nudge it back in time a bit. And we've ended up in an era where we're basically saying in the film that the MIB International actually may have existed from, say, the turn of the century onwards.
Wait, so Eiffel was an MIB agent?
One of the first. So we're sort of recreating the top of the Eiffel Tower. So we're building this portal room, which is this strange set. So we had to basically get our brains into what the real inner working space of this Eiffel Tower was.
You do react within your environment to the environment, and certainly when we come from London in the back lot of the studio, and all of a sudden we're in Italy on the coastline, there's a whole different energy. We're going to Naples.
Oh, to Rizzo's fortified fortress of for sure death?
In our movie, we find Rizzo in this island called Ischia in Italy. And as a location, it is probably the architecture on that island is 15th or 16th century. And we loved all of that.
Marrakesh was absolutely amazing. To be able to go into the northern tip of Africa and shoot action with Chris Hemsworth and Tessa and aliens. I mean, what more can you ask for? It was amazing.
Marrakesh has a completely different visual sense to it. The heat, the light, the dust, the colour palette, everything is a complete change from where we've been in London.
I love my cars and bikes.
This is nothing like riding a bike at all.
Got it, marker.
So yeah, anytime there is something like that, it's a joy. And it's a hover bike, so it's like no bike in the world. So it's pretty unique. So a normal motorbike moves in a certain lean angle, a certain way. The hover bike, well, we don't know what a hover bike does, but we're coming up with all these sorts of movements. We're saying it moves more like a jet ski in the water.
When we go to Morocco, there's a big sort of chase sequence through the streets of Morocco on that bike. We rehearsed that a few weeks ago and that was a lot of fun. Did a lot of driving, the handbrake turns and donuts. That was cool. I haven't done that kind of extensive rehearsal with cars or bikes before in a film.
Took you long enough. Had to learn how to ride this thing.
On the car side, we had a big sequence in there. I get Chris drifting and doing some pretty cool car stuff as well, which he hadn't done before. And he took to that really quickly. What I try and do is keep as much of the action as real as possible. Chris Hemsworth involved was a sort of massive sort of draw for me because he's hilarious.
I think the action in this film is much more grounded in reality than the superhero world that I've been a part of. His skill set, there is a sort of ability, martial arts sort of ability, I guess. There's no heightened superpowers or anything. It has a definite, unique sort of feel to it than things I've done before.
Action! MIB, freeze! On the ground!
Adventure and stunts and action goes hand in hand with Men in Black.
That doesn't look good.
Let's do this.
The Men in Black movies, it's not just big action sequences, it's clever action. We've got some fights, climbing, falling, water, cars. We've got a massive, massive chase in Morocco. That's what attracted me, was to see if we could evolve it and make it different.
There should be a big red button around here somewhere.
Found it. That doesn't look good. Our stunt coordinator, Wade Eastwood, did the last Mission Impossible movie and is so good at that scope and that action. But the fun thing about, I think, action inside of a Men in Black movie is it's still funny.
I was attracted to this project for that reason, to be able to fuse comedy and action.
On the ground. Calm down.
Hands
up. There's always these really fun set pieces that only happen in this zany world.
There's a moment in the movie in which there's a shootout, and surprisingly enough, it's Molly's choice to find the biggest gun and start wailing with it. And it was a very conscious choice.
Right.
We wanted to go against the stereotype that just because she was the bookish one who studied her way into all of this, that she wasn't capable of real physical action. And luckily in Tessa, if you see her in Thor, she's a wonderful physical actress.
We do a lot of rehearsals and a lot of training. I'm renowned for it. They come into my workshop of hell and we work them really hard. With Tess, she was game. She was really game.
The next category of gadget or prop that we think is essential to Men in Black are the cars.
H&H had to have the coolest car in the entire movie, so we went with the classic Jag.
I remember Gary sort of said to me, what is the quintessential British car? And I said, well, it has to be a Jaguar XJ6, doesn't it? It's a very elegant car, except we had to smash one up today, which made me want to weep.
H has a classic E-type Jag, quite unique in the sense that every part of that car was also a weapon.
H&M are fighting these guys and they start pulling all of these weapons out of the car that become bigger and bigger and bigger and more ridiculous.
Now this is more like it.
It's like the type of Jag you want to have, especially if there are aliens on Earth. The hover bike is absolutely amazing. This was designed by my production designer, Charlie Wood. I worked with him on the Italian job, and I just told him, you have to come up with the coolest alien vehicle ever, and I think he did.
Well, we knew we were going to be in Marrakesh. We wanted to think of a shape that's far removed from being in that lovely world as possible. We wanted to come up with something which was extraordinary, different.
That would be very interesting to have that practically in the streets of Marrakesh, blasting around with all these air effects blasting people as it goes by. It bounces off a variety of walls, and he's basically just crashing and bashing his way through the streets of Marrakesh, trying to gain control of this beast.
Hold on tight!
One of the biggest challenges I think Laurie and I had was to juggle what are the fundamental values that our fan base insists that are absolutely essential to the piece, and what are the things that really are ripe for reinvention.
There's no Men in Black if there's no neuralizer. And that was the hardest prop to redesign.
And story, the neuralizer is key, because the neuralizer is what keeps the mainstream public innocent of the crazy reality that's happening all around them.
Hi, everyone. If we could all look right here.
Just drive.
We've been working with interesting ways that it opens, interesting ways that it calibrates, but at the end of the day, I think you'll see that our agents pull out a thing that makes sure that people walk away without memories of the extraordinary things that they've just experienced. We looked at our weapons through the lens of the fact that this Men in Black office is in England. In all aspects of design, we're moving to a slightly more classic, slightly more elegant, slightly more historical feel for these things.
We just go through so many concepts of them, so much talking about them, and now Pierre started making them in our prop manufacturing department. And the other day I saw 2 of the guns come through and I was like, it's gonna work, they're gonna be cool, they're gonna look good.
Check, please.
Men in Black International. We take you out of New York. We take you to Morocco. We, of course, take you to London and Paris, coast of Naples. And we spend a little time in New York. We have to.
At the beginning of the film, we're actually rebuilding some of the iconic interiors that were created for the first film. When you first go into the building, and it's where you walked in originally.
Along with setting up our young Molly's story in New York from the beginning, we've now built the entrance to MIB 4 times.
It's so cool to go on the iconic sets, like when we're in O's office, a set that we've seen before.
Within a lot of the scenery we've been building, some of it's practical, some of it are fragment sets where we would build the necessary part of the set, the effects department take them over. In the art department, it allows you to do a huge range of different looks.
I've made a lot of movies with ensemble casts, and the trick is to make sure they all fit in the same world. And if you can get that, then you've scored. But to go beyond that, to have chemistry where you just want to see them together because they interact in a way that's so entertaining, that's the holy grail.
That's actually kind of deep.
So H turns to the Wonder Twins and he starts groveling. And I give him this look, you know, this look, you don't want this look. And then I turn to Millie and Vanilli and I say, who wants to get their asses kicked first? They both point at the other one like, he does. And I go, trick question, I'm gonna kick your ass simultaneously.
I don't know how you do it, but you just keep doing it.
Yeah, what's that, Sue?
Oh, saving the world.
Calm down! MIB freeze!
One of the best on-screen duos in the last decade.
Came off Thor 3 and Avengers straight into this and picked up where we left off.
This is non-negotiable. Well, it's slightly negotiable.
I hired these people.
Boy, those twins can dance. Check out alienancestry.com.
I try and keep as much of the action as real as possible.
She did punch me once, for real.
Come on, we'll have a fun time.
Hi guys, here's today's daily fact. Did you know that some people actually believe the Men in Black exist? During the 50s, fans of UFOs wrote books about the agency, even using the acronym MIB, and claiming men in dark suits would come to their houses and threaten them into stopping their research about aliens. Remember to click below to subscribe, and if you like my shirt, you can get it at the link in the description.